Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome to another session of Conversations on Consciousness. Let me begin with a small prayer. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste everyone. We are very happy today to have among us Swami Ramesvarananda Saraswati ji, who is joining us from all the way from Manjarkudi. You are currently there, right, Swamiji?
Yes, Kudi, Ramesvarananda.
Ramesvarananda. Apologies. So we are very happy to have you, Swamiji, and thank you for making time from your busy schedule. Before we begin, I just want to give a brief introduction to you to share with the audience. Swami Ramesvarananda ji took sannyasa diksha from Swami Sakshat Kritananda Saraswati ji, the chief acharya at Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ashram at Rishikesh. Swamiji is currently a resident at Manjakudi in Tamil Nadu, which is Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati's birthplace, where Swamiji runs a Vedanta study center called Gnana Pravaha, wherein all of Puja Shri's teachings have been archived and they are available for free access for any students of Vedanta. Swamiji also has a facility to conduct Vedanta retreats for acharyas and students can accommodate 30 to 40 people there. And Swamiji is also associated with the Arsha Vidya Research and Publication Trust, founded by Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, which publishes all of Puja Swamiji's teachings, his works, transcripts, lectures, and everything. We will talk more about this activities of the trust as we proceed in the interview. Swamiji, once again, thank you for making time. And my first question, this is the common question that I ask all our guests, is that please share with us about your spiritual journey. How did it all begin, so to speak? Did any events trigger you in this path, or was it a natural process for you? How did you first develop your interest in Vedanta? Who were your early inspirations? Please share about your journey.
Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Varam. Yes, it so happens that I am also born in this village. So that basically would throw light on my early association with Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, since he was familiar to my family, Purvashram family, parents, my uncle, and all those. He was himself a student of Pujya Swamiji. So whenever Pujya Swamiji in his early sannyasa days in 70s, he used to visit Trichy, Tanjore, and used to conduct Gita Jnana Yajna when he was in Chimaya Mission. He was the initiator of Gita Jnana Yajnas and all that, along for Pujya Swami, Pujya Guru Swami Chimayananda. He used to conduct lectures under the banner of Chimaya Mission. So whenever he used to come to Trichy and all that, I was a young boy and we used to go along with my uncle just to help him around in terms of banners or in terms of Swamiji's clothes maintenance, etc. So that is how I know him. And also, when I was just finishing my graduation, I had a leisure time, like exams were all over, I was waiting for the results, graduation was over. So I attended one session where the topic of the session was Who Am I? So this was at Trichy, St. Joseph's National High School grounds in the year of 1975 June. So that class, that sessions, once he told that you are the awareful being, that struck root in my heart and in my mind. Since I felt that I used to do a lot of soliloquy even in those days. Like I used to yeah, I'm able to see that I do something well in the morning, something but not so well in the evening. Sometimes I get scolded by my mother, father in the morning. Evening, I get scolded by my teacher of tutors me in cricket. All those things. So that sort of a thing I always used to observe, and I said that yeah, I'm able to have something like when I was able to relate to that word, awareful being aware of what are my plus minus, what is going on in my mind, my own dreams, daydreams, etc. All those things I was able to see, and I was very interested. So I kept on listening. Thereafter, it was just growing. Really, I don't know. It kept only growing in the sense the clarity. That was like Swamiji used to say, it's like a Polaroid film. Like it was on improving in clarity. It was not a very, I would say, it was not a very deliberate thing to get into Vedanta or spiritual studies and all that. For me, it is, he is talking about me and he says you are the awareful being. And I said that, yeah, that I'm able to, I would like to know more about it. I kept on listening to him. Fortunately, and it's a blessing, I would say, in from the parampara, I moved to Bombay, where Pujya Swamiji started Swami, that 3-year course, wherein all the present stalwart acharyas like Swami Paramarthananda, Swami Vidyatmananda, even my uncle Purvasham uncle L.S. Mani also was a student. It was at Chandipati Sadhanalaya, yeah, and the institute is still running under Chimaya Mission's auspicious. Pujya Swamiji carved out the Gurukulam, Swami Dayananda Saraswati carved out the Gurukulam syllabus and started the course right earnest in December 75 or January 76. I was there in Bombay looking for a job and I got connected to Hindustan Lever as an employee. So I was there for very much there and used to go there weekends to Sandipani Sadhanalaya, and the journey continued, like my understanding of who am I continued. That is how I told. I just used to spend time with Swamiji, whatever classes, whatever satsang, whatever temple bhajans, everything that are going on there. I used to be part of it. I used to be present there. Weekend I used to spend, come back charged to Mumbai, the rendezvous of all new job, new people. At the age of 19, 20, I had no, I had not even seen Chennai before I left Trichy to Bombay. So everything was city life, new language, new people, new crowd, everything was new. But and there was the certain things were there, certain things were not there. I was living in a pad, whereas I was living in a home in Trichy. Here in Bombay, I was living in a pad. But the sense, none of those words really rang in my mind. In the sense, I was never comparing myself with others. I never looked at myself as having a moneyed person, not a moneyed person, having great clothes or a great job. All those things were the sense. Those words, no, were not really making any impression in my mind. What was making an impression in my mind was that they were the awareness being. That I could see the whole thing as a drama going around me. That was really fascinating. In the sense, I was able to enjoy all the pluses and minuses happening around me because it was more like a drama where the awareness being. So I would say the lifestyle, the whole changes, dynamic changes that was happening from 75 to 80 till Swamiji was around completing the course and getting back to US to start another course there and all that. For me, it was I would say, lifetime education, not only in my own Laukika or day-to-day life, but also in the Vedic journey. Like in the sense, I honestly, as I said, I never looked at it as a Vedic journey or something. No big words. I was just understanding myself, and it was beautiful. So I left it at that and allowed it to grow. That is how my journey started.
That's wonderful, Swamiji. So it was a more of a naturally happened, organically happened journey. I think that is the beauty of it. Uh, so that you received your Diksha from Swami Sakshat Kritananda Saraswati ji. So did you also study under him or with him? Can you share some incidents of this experience with
Yeah,
the
this
Swamiji there?
what happened was
Swamiji?
I was in Bombay for 22 years till 2005. Came to Chennai for a year. I joined Bushbokal, and thereafter I went to Gulf for 10 years and came back. Then when I was back, all the time I had gone through the Gita home study course started by Swamiji in 1990. I was the first course member. I was having those manuscripts regularly, studying while working only. And whenever I got an opportunity to listen to Swamiji in Bombay, physically I used to be present there morning, evening. I used to keep listening. Wherever he used to travel, he used to inform me by phone or by letter that I am coming here, you can meet me there. And I used to keep doing that. That was going on. So in 2005, when I came back, I felt that I had made enough for the rest of, like, for people's requirements in terms of what comforts or afterlife or retired life, sort of retired life. Because Swamiji always to say that is the best way. Go to Gulf, make money, come back, have a good home, and get into Vedanta. And that's what he was just used to tell, and he used to. He said that's the most practical way to live and all that. So that was also ringing true in my mind because I felt so comfortable, so contented. I felt I should do something. Like I have heard so much about from him, and for I have my life has been enriched, so I must get back to him. So that is how it all started. In 2006-7, I joined the Gurukulam at Anaikati, where Swami Sakshat Kritananda was assisting Pujya Swamiji in all his activities. That time he was not even made an acharya in the Gurukulam. Thereafter, it all started like Swamiji wanted to start a 3-year course, and then Pujya Pujya Swamiji. 1 minute, I mute. Pujya Swamiji started a 3-year course in 2010, but between 2007 and 9, I had lot of interaction with Swami Sakshat Kritananda, and Pujya Swamiji was a direct report. I was reporting directly to him as a manager because there was no course going on, so all activities have to be coordinated in conjunction with Swami Sakshat Kritananda and Swamiji as the person who is running the ashram. So that is how I got intimately connected with Swami Sakshat Kritananda also. And when the course started, I moved to Chennai, the publication. 2009, I moved to publication. Thereafter, all the transcribing, I was assisting the previous editor in terms of transcribing the edits, running the publication, which was an exclusive publication, started in 2005 only for the public publishing, which is on Dayananda Saraswati's teachings. Because there are other acharyas who are publishing themselves, but we wanted that being the founder of this whole Asharya Parampara, he must have an exclusive publication. That is how it all started. Even we took out earlier publication from other places where Swamiji has spoken, and we converted them into books. What we are having as Asharya Research and Publication Trust publications today, all are published under that banner. And Swami Sakshat Kritananda was also the editor of all the Upanishads till now. Kena, Mundaka, Taittiriya, and all that. So he was also very closely connected with me. I was interacting with him, and I used to keep listening to Pujya Swami Dayananda's teachings on audios and videos and all that, transcribing. So my job itself was a 9 to 5 listening to Pujya Swamiji and transcribing. So that was my Shravanam, and my Mananam was with Swami Sakshat Kritananda in terms of clarifying whatever I edit and whatever I transcribe. Any doubts, I used to talk to him. So I was intimately connected. I was blessed to be connected to both the acharyas. And later, when 2015, this was going on next 10 years, 2015, Pujya Swamiji took Samadhi and all that. We published some Prasthanatraya completion, Taittiriya and Brahma Sutra, and done by under the help of mentorship of Swami Sakshat Kritananda. So he was closely, in the sense, I have not directly studied under Swami Sakshat Kritananda. My understanding of the whole teaching is from Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati teaching because of my constant Shravanam from him. But he was very much mentoring me into the whole journey, Pujya Swami Sakshat Kritananda. So I was blessed. Later, after 3-4 years, when things moved on in life, I was blessed. My prarabdha and my association with Swami Sakshat Kritananda, being the chief acharya at Rishikesh, it all, in the sense I would say, it's all providence. It all fell in place. It came together, and he was kind enough. He felt that I am ready for it, and the sense that is how it all happened. The Diksha happened in 2021 under his blessings. Yeah, these blessings under in the Swami Dayananda ashram at Rishikesh at his ashram.
So that's absolutely wonderful, Swamiji. I think what stuck to me was the Shravanam you used that as part of your publication work, transcription, and everything. That itself become, I think, the best example of a best illustration of Karma Yoga. I think. So more on that, I think you're the right person for me to ask this question. Uh, what are were the some of the unique techniques or unique methods that Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji employed while teaching the texts or the Upanishads or the Vedantic texts? Was there a unique teaching method, unique teaching style of him? Some light about that for those who have not actually, those like me who have not actually met him directly or studied under him, but nevertheless very fascinated by his books, by his teachings. Please do share, Swamiji.
Yeah, see, Swamiji always used to say, this teaching is irrespective of number of people he teaches one to one. In the sense, he says there is no, like, there's not an audience, not teaching to an audience. Teaching one to one, like a Gurukulam in the olden days. You are totally the Shraddha of the student with the teacher in the teaching is like what is a Gurukulam situation. Wherever one sits and listens, the Swamiji, you can see that Swamiji is seeing eye to eye with you. Wherever you are sitting, even in the crowd. So one day, if you change your position, Puja Swamiji will always notice. You are sitting there, why are you sitting here today? Sit in one place because I am teaching one to one. That was his the sense. That is how this teaching is. It is the vision. Swamiji used to say that has to be transferred from the guru's head to the student's head. All the words that come in between come and go. The vrittis come and go. The vision gets transferred. For that, the Shraddha and the teaching and the Shraddha and the teacher, the total trust like between the mother and the child has to be there. The total trust, the surrender, because that is how all of us are born with total trust in the mother when we are born. And that trust has to be there for because it is all about being the total. You are the total, you are the Ishvara. The totality is what is being communicated. That has to be the total trust in the teacher has to happen. And the teacher has to have the total like commitment, the daya, as the name suggests, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, the daya has to the compassion. He wants to make you. The sense he says always to say, when you leave the room, you must be as total as I am. Then only my teaching is complete. That is what was his message to all the acharyas and all the students. So that is the unique style, and that has happened not only in just people who are close to him intimately, who have been watching him, but also who has been around. A lot of people who have been part of the camps, part of 3-year courses. All of them had that feeling. Everyone felt we are intimately connected to Puja Swamiji in so many ways. Even people who have not what you call studied Vedanta under him, they also feel connected. But for the people who study Vedanta, this connection is almost like what Bhagavan Krishna used to tell. Bhagavan Krishna's vision has to be transferred to Arjuna. Like if you look at it as a figurative thing, the buddhi is the Sarathi. The buddhi in every individual is the Sarathi. That is Krishna. The buddhi has to become Krishna means what? That much of transference in terms of vision has to happen. That is his unique style. He, in my understanding, I feel blessed that that happened. That is why that is the unique style. That is the uniqueness of the teaching. That is the only way it will work. This is not a teaching as a subject. It doesn't stand. It should not stand outside of you. It is within you. It is your life. It is one life. Swamiji always to say there is no professional, personal, laukika, vaidika bifurcation. You are one person, one being, and that one being has the essence of it has to be captured through the vision. That was his teaching, and that is the uniqueness.
That's amazing. I think uh, to be able to speak to an audio room full of people and communicate individually, personally to each of them. I think not many people are able to do it, and all the students who are fortunate to listen to Puja Swamiji were really fortunate. We're really lucky to have that opportunity. Wonderful, Swamiji. So moving on, I just want to ask you more about uh, the work that you are doing in Arsha Vidya Research and Publication Trust. What are the spectrum activities that you are doing, and what kind of challenges you might have faced in the course of doing these activities? To share about something about the trust.
Yeah, see, as you know, my background is from the industry. I came to Swamiji, and Swamiji used to say, whatever you do in my under my auspicious, everything is a contribution. So I never looked at when I was a manager at the Gurukulam. I used to do right from kitchen management to all the accommodation, all the facility management, utilities, everything I used to do. And whenever any problem is there, anyone any complaint, Swamiji used to tell me, and I used to act on it. That is how it is. No bar on any activity. There's nothing like bifurcation and all that. So 24 hours I was available at the ashram. I was resident there, and I was available, and I used to keep doing that. The same thing when I moved into the publication, there was an editor, there was the publication. As I said, the object was to convert Pujya Swamiji's teachings into books, and even later we convert, even the apart from the books, the audios, the videos are all being now circulated in an organized manner through a teachings of Swami Dayananda app. Then we started a website. I gave the inputs of how the website should be, how it should look. We had an external agent to do the website. Later, we got a dedicated person inside. As of now, who is maintaining that? We transferred from that external agent to the person here. Then I was also managing I was trying to introduce more the books to the more and more stores and all that. We found that it is a niche product. It is not going to move like regular books and all that. We burnt our fingers and trying to what you call popularize, market it, push sale and all that. We found that only pull will work. Only the devotees and all the ashrams have to be our prime. We should serve them, and they should in turn take it to the people. All these things, lot of guys to be involved in our marketing, administration, sales, and the hands-on. I used to prepare invoice. All those things I was doing. And the previous editor, so I fell sick. So I used to start doing the what you call editing, checking the edits and all that. So we used to get the other acharyas who we used to give them the transcript and get the acharyas to edit. And I will check on the edits and get back to them saying that the errors and all, if at all there is a clarification, I used to get clarified myself for my own clarification. I used to edit and transcribe, not as just as a transcriber or editor. I wanted to absorb and make the teaching my own. It should be, that is how I was able to reach out to all the editing acharyas to ask they were kind enough to clarify the doubts. And even Pujya Swamiji, used to go and sit with him, read the transcribes. Whenever he edits, he used to tell me that these are the things, these are the fine nuances in the book and how it should reflect in the book. How a teaching to a Gurukulam is different, how it should reflect in the book is different. So, what are the things you have to take care? These things I continuously kept on doing, and the sense and the challenges are basically to ensure that the transcription must completely capture Pujya Swamiji's whatever way even the jokes, even the things and all, we must be able to capture in toto verbatim. And later, when they edit, the challenge is Swamiji used to say, cut out what is not relevant to a book. You must be able to imagine how the book going into the hands of a reader, it should make sense to him. Whatever is making sense to a Gurukulam student may not make sense to a reader. So those things you have to marry both of them. And if at all there is any problem, you have to get back to the acharyas who are editing and tell them these repetitions are there, can we cut out? All these things, no, these are all the challenges. That more importantly is to develop more transcribers or communicate this, because I was doing the transcribing for say almost like whenever possible, but there had to be other transcribers who had to be involved, and you have to communicate to them what it means. Transcribing Pujya Swamiji's talks mean it is not like a regular book or something like that. It is the teaching. It has to get to the reader's mind. what Swamiji is trying to convey. These are the challenges which continue even today. Even though I am taken to the Sannyasa Diksha, I am still continuing with the Puja Swamiji's work in terms of trying to convert more and more books. We plan to launch Puja Swamiji's teachings on Mandukya with Karika in September. We recently published in this Viveka in June. In September, we want to publish Mandukya Karika into 4 volumes. That again will happen in the Rishikesh. The final edits have been done. The edits have been done by me and have been supervised by Swami Sakshat Kritanandaji. So all these things are happening continuously. It is a challenge. It's a blessing. It is that is how it. The publication has to be looked at. Even the in terms of what you call the app development. In terms of we are trying to develop a website for Jnana Prabhava exclusively so that we can reach out to more people and all that. The person who is doing the dedicated job of maintaining the app, developing the website, also he is equally a committed student of Swamiji for the last 15 years. He has undergone a 3-year course himself at Naikati. So it is to be, it is not, it should be a life transforming thing for the people who are involved in this work. Then only it blesses you, it blesses others who are getting the fruits of this publication as well as the Jnana Pravaha related activities. So that is how we look at it.
That's wonderful, Swamiji. I think you are doing a very important work there, bringing out all these lectures and in a book format. I think that would greatly help. I have seen that there are some students who are more comfortable in listening to the teaching, and there are many others who prefer reading and reflecting on the teaching. So having both as an audio, video, as well as on the print format is very helpful. Moving further, I want to discuss 2 or 3 common things related to Vedanta. One of the first questions is that how important is seva in the path of Vedanta? Because I think this is often not stressed enough. People have a lot of misconception that Vedanta means all about some reading, hearing, reflecting. That's it, and or how this new age thinking has come up. Because I'm already Brahman, there is nothing for me to do. But that is now how the tradition sees. So, how important is seva in the path of Vedanta? How can one understand what is the right way to engage in seva?
Yeah, again, taking recourse to what Puji Swamiji has always been telling, he used to tell, he was very, what do you call, sometimes even emotional to say that he has done a lot of seva to his gurus. He was Swami Chimyananda, Swami Pranavananda of Andhra Ashram, Swami Tharananda of Rishikesh. All these people he has studied under, and he has done a lot of tapas in studying, understanding all those under extreme circumstances of life, which none of us face as students, because he has ensured that all his students and acharya, disciples and all have much more comfortable life in pursuing this study compared to what he had undergone in those years in 60s and 70s and all that. So, and in spite of all those difficult circumstances, Swamiji used to say that he had done a lot of Guru Seva. Guru Seva in the sense, in terms of making this teaching, transcribing, publishing. He himself was a very good editor. He has edited Swami Chimyananda's Gita, Holy Gita, which is even now it's available in all big, prestigious locations throughout the world. Holy Gita was edited by Swami Dayananda Saraswati for Chimyananda, and Swami Chimyananda appreciated Swami Dayananda for his great work in that direction. And also later also Pranavananda and Sarananda is studied under. He has done lot of seva. He used to say Guru Seva used to be very in the sense it blesses the student to get the right understanding. Like this understanding, it needs 3 types of Shanti. Swamiji always to say, that's why we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It is Adhyatma Shanti, Adi Baudhika Shanti, and Adi Devika Shanti. Say Adhyatma is that you must, your own mental Adhikaritvam, you must be prepared as a person, in spite of, all of us have come with the background, like not only the background in this Janma, but also in Janmas gone by. So all of us have got come with some samskara. That samskara has kept us going in this life cycle of janana and marana, and it is obvious that we are not able to get out of that cycle because we are caught there. We have got so much ingrained. The Shastra uses the word abhinivesha, agraha, avesha, in all those things. That itself is a great cover, pratibandha, for us to pursue this teaching, even though the teaching that you are the awareful being is so simple and so profound, so fulfilling, that the simple thing which is there, which doesn't require any great intellection, it's not rocket science, but it is covered by our own abhinivesha and all that. That if that has to be broken, the three type of shanti has to be covered. That you must be blessed yourself to take to this, and the Bhautika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Devika, people around you, and the Ishvara Anugraha, these things, if they have to fall in place, Guru Seva and Guru Vakya Paripalanam, whatever he says in terms of values and attitudes, in terms of your Shraddha, in the teaching and in the way of life he propounds, how he lives, how compassionate you are, he is. You must fake it and make it, he used to tell. If you don't, everyone need not have compassion naturally, but you can fake it and make it. And Swamiji always used to say how ways and methods, how to develop attitudes and values. That is again Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is not a what you call, it's an isolated thing. It is not a separate job by itself. Doing karma in the sense living. Everyone has to live, even right from eating onwards. You are living your life is karma. That nobody, including a sannyasi, cannot escape. But doing that as yoga is to ensure that all these pratibandhas are taken care of, and you are focused in the study. You are able to sit and study, listen to Swamiji. People used to ask me, how can you sit and listen to Swamiji for 4 or 5 hours every day? I would say it's a blessing. That blessing is coming out of the grace Guru has imparted, Ishvara has imparted, people around you, father, mother, friends, and all have imparted, even the family is imparted you. They impart that blessing only when you are being empathetic towards them, you are doing whatever you are supposed to do as seva. That also is seva. And that seva is as yoga. And that yoga, the karma yoga, helps you to stay with the jnanam, stay focused in the pursuit of jnana. So it's all intermingled, it is not disconnected, it is all very well connected. So that is how it has to be, seva has to be looked at. Seva is not something like just going, and Swamiji always used to say, it's not something and going do a social service in an organization without taking any money. That is there, that is very good, no doubt. That may help you in getting some anugraha. But the seva and yoga which Swamiji talks about in the context of Vedanta study is what I have explained all along. That is what is important. That is how you have to look at it. Yeah.
Swamiji, another misconception, should I say, or the popular perception is that there is a confusion regarding the place of upasana, bhakti upasana, saguna upasana, if I have to put it that way, in Vedanta, because there is often again some misconception saying that if everything is Brahman, then what is the need to do puja or upasana? So can you shed some light on this? What are your thoughts on this, as well as Puja Swamiji and the Saraswatiji's thoughts on it?
Yeah, in the sense, if you know for sure that you are Brahman, this is not something to be what you call put in words and put in a board and keep it in your room that I am Brahman. Keep on saying that. That is not. It is not even cannot be verbalized. Mandukya, the book that we are going to bring out, also elaborately talks about it. It's not even. You can never put it in words, and it is something that is you are. Everything. Swamiji used to say that the very catchy phrase is "you are self-evident," meaning you are not evident to the self. What is self-evident is not evident to the self. To that extent, you cannot put it in, I say I know Brahman, that famous words in Kena Upanishad also, where the student replies to the question by the teacher, I can't say that I don't know Brahman. I can't say that I know Brahman in the sense I cannot say I can objectify Brahman for you. But people who know me know that I am Brahman. My guru knows that I am Brahman. That much he used to put the onus back to the Acharya, that says it cannot be verbalized. All these things are so intricately taught in the Upanishads in so many ways. That is why so many ways, methodology, so many prakriyas by which it is taught. So, but to get there, all this anugraha which I was talking to you, Adi Bhaunika, Devika, Adhyatma, Anugraha is important. That is where, that what do you call, Bhakti, Ishvara, Upasana, and even Puja, rituals, all have got a relevant place. Till the time you grow, you are able to spend time with this understanding, doing Shravanam, Mananam, without any impediment, even in Nididhyasanam, even in meditation. Even you must be able to, even if there is a thought, you must be able to get back to a meditative. It should not be a meditation in isolation. It should be meditative life. So nothing is a distraction for a meditative person with a meditative life. Everything is a vibhuti. This sort of an outlook for you to develop, lot of anugraha is needed. That is where bhakti, upasana, good karma, ishta karma, purta karma, all these have got a place. You can never discount any of these things, but everything has got an allotted place. That should not become an agraha. Again, as I was mentioning, agraha, Mandukya itself elaborately talks about that. Your agraha, avesha, and abhinivesha, even in the rituals, and as a pratima outside, Ishvara as a pratima outside, that itself can become a pratibandha. That you have clearly decided he is only outside, Ishvara is not within you. So that should not also happen. So you must be able to, these are all only upaya, the tools for you to understand and be Ishwaroham. So all this journey has to be properly understood, be reflected upon, alert in all your Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. All these have to go along. Just like Swamiji says, it's like noodles. Nothing can be looked at as isolation. Take one thing, everything else comes together. One value, everything other value falls in place. So all these things is to listen. We have to be exhausted. That is why you must not have any. Swamiji used to say you should not have any props. None of them use these things. Don't use any of these things as props. Props may be required for you to grow up like a child. For it to act out a play of a bird, it needs to have wings. So only when you give a prop like wings, it can behave like a bird. Because it's a child. But that prop should not be the thing for you as you grow up. As you grow up, you must be able to drop all props and get into that Ishwaroham. And at the same time, none of these things can be discounted. All these things are very relevant as upaya and tools for you to get to that final situation, Ishwaroham.
Wonderful. Thank you, Swamiji. As we come to the conclusion of the session, I have just one final question. You have been working on the publishing and studying, listening to all the works of Swami, Puja Swamiji. So, what are some of the books that you would recommend? Some of the books by Puja Swamiji, or perhaps directly written by him, or a transcription of his lectures? What are some of the books that you would recommend for a beginner who wants to just start his journey with Puja Swamiji?
We have got something called a Moments with Oneself series, a series of 18 books, where Swamiji has taken individual aspects of life and how to respond in a given situation. Very simple language and very yathartham. And he always connects it with the basic understanding that you are the awareful being. For you to connect to that, what are all the things which you need to do in different kinds of situations you face? That Moments with Oneself series, the word itself, Moments with Oneself. You must be able to spend time with yourself in spite of what is happening around. For that, the upaya as tools, how to have values and attitudes in individual situations. That is come out as Moments with Oneself series, 18 books. And then we have got a set of 6 or 8 public talks books, slightly elaborate. Again, dealing with individual aspects of what you call very normal life, a person who is living in a normal life, how he can connect him with himself. That should be the beginning. In the sense, unless you have a what you call it should know the sense. Swamiji always to say it is something that you must have I think I have told in the earlier time also to you that it should be like a head on fire situation. See, a person whose head on fire, he is not looking elsewhere. He will do something immediately to put out that fire. In the same way, this understanding that you are the awareness being, you should, this is, I need to know this. I need to know this, otherwise my life is unfulfilled. And otherwise my life is a waste. That sort of a fire in the belly situation has to happen. For that to happen, all these initial texts, books and will help, definitely. And thereafter, Swamiji always says, take to Gita home study, have a satsang group. He always used to say this is a very important thing. Have a group study of Gita home study where Swamiji has elaborately dealt with all the fundamental problems. He has given a figurative situation of what are Arjuna's predicaments, and your predicaments in life are not very different. Only that that is a Pratama Malla Naya. He is sitting in a warlike situation. He has to do something. If this thing can help, all our problems are nothing. Definitely in our situation, we cannot excuse, no, I have got a different difficult problem. How can I study? You can have no such excuses, because in a warlike situation, Gita Acharya was able to teach him, because at that time, even the life and death situation, he found that that teaching is important. So you can have no excuse. So Gita home study, you have to get into, and very patiently Swamiji has elaborated with lot of daya and compassion. He has elaborated, and as a group study, it is definitely helpful. Once people once they have understood that this study is very important in my life, then they get into this, and thereafter, once a Gita home study is spent, you spend sufficient number of time on that. Thereafter, naturally, you will get into like to know, once you know that you are you want to know the glory, then the glory of your being is the glory of the world around, and glory of Ishvara. That comes by studying Upanishads. Then the teaching is complete, the understanding is complete. So I think it's all natural. Like Bhagavan is a human being, being only among all the species, we are only called being. The cat is not called a cat being, or even a devata is not called a devata being. Son, God, we say. But the being, the word the being is exclusively, even in English language, meant for human. So we have to get to the situation that we are first beings, rather than all the time doing. We must be able to get to the situation we are day in and day out. We are being. We have to be capital, E capital. That comes to understanding.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for an enlightening session. I'm sure all of our audience would be watching this session, would be hugely benefited from it. Thank you for making time for this session.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Please share the recording with me.
I will, Swamiji. Yes, with this, we come to the conclusion of yet another session of Conversations on Consciousness. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. With this, we conclude the session. Shri Guru.